Welcome to this audiovisual module focusing on the second part of the visioning process for your federations. This began in the previous module, which was about preparing or activating village level leadership for conducting and facilitating a village level visioning process. This whole module has been designed by Mr. Girish Pradhan and myself, Shivaji. I shall be guiding you through this module so that you have all the necessary information to successfully facilitate this program with the federation leaders. This is the second module, and this focuses on consolidating the vision statements from the village level visioning event, prioritizing them, and then looking at the major indicators in each of the dimensions which have been identified in the village level visioning. For example, health, education, livelihoods, rights and entitlements, etc. This module also looks at their current status at the national, state and district level and then sets target for each of the indicators for the federations. As part of this training, the leaders of the federation would be facilitated to finalize their vision statement for the federation and then discussing the major strategies for each of the dimensions. This training has 10 sessions and this training will require around 20 hours, which roughly translates to 3.5 days for the participants. Now, coming to the preparations that are required for this training. The finalized dimensions from each of the VLOs has to be put into a chart, and that chart has to be brought as part of the training on the first day itself. The VLO leaders have to come in with these charts from their village level visioning exercise, which was held in their respective villages. If possible, small pictures and photos from the various visioning exercises can be put up as a panel display. This can be a very good way of refreshing the memories of the leaders and also adding to the fact that they have done a very good job of facilitating such a pivotal and an important meeting at the village. Logistical arrangements for the training like venue preparations, especially if the participants are going to stay back for the night, like power backups, arrangement for rodents, mosquitoes, among other things, should be taken care of as per the checklist which has been provided at the end of this module. The room. Yes, the room should be adequately lit for the training to take place. Too much darkness can cause discomfort and fatigue for both the trainers and the trainees. It would be great if the room is not too near the main road, as otherwise there are going to be a lot of noises from the traffic and people walking past, which is going to create a lot of disturbances during the session. So take care of these preparations and ensure that these are done. Have a look at this slide. As you can see in front of you, these are the sessions in the program. As you can see in this slide, all the sessions of this training program have been lined up in front of you. We start off with a welcome and introduction session. We do an expectation mapping and we share the objectives. We do a reflection of the village level visioning that has taken place. We consolidate the vision with the federation leaders and then facilitate them to prepare a vision statement. They then consolidate the prioritized dimensions. They look at the measuring indicators which are important for each of the dimensions and understand their current status, and then the federation leaders are helped in setting targets for each of the dimensions, which is done in the session 7th. Session 8 is generally concerned with finalizing the strategies for achieving these targets. Session 9 is about understanding the factors that are going to affect the achievement of this target, and session 10 and 11 are basically concerned around the knowledge, skills and attitudes required to perform the role, and finally, what kind of changes are required in their own behavior for bringing in the desired transformation in their federations. So now we come to the first session. As you can see, as the name suggests, this session is about introduction and also to an extent unfreezing the participants to each other and also with the trainer. This session will take about an hour or so. The facilitator shall first welcome the participants and ask them about their journey from the respective homes. The facilitator would then announce that although some of you may know each other, but this would be a good opportunity to know each other even better. So please form pairs with a person whom you know the least. Wait for them to make pairs. There may be some confusion at first, but as a facilitator, you have to be patient and remind them that they have to make pairs with someone who they are not very familiar with. Once you're sure that the pairs have been formed, then give these instructions to them. And remember, these instructions need to be given in a very loud and clear voice. Here are the instructions. Introduce yourself to your partner. And then share your understanding as to why do you think you have been chosen by your VLOs as a representative to the CLF or the Federation. Give them about 5 to 6 minutes to discuss and ask the participants to introduce their partners and share their partner's reason for being selected as a representative. Once the sharing is over, repeat the major aspects that the participants have shared as the reasons for being selected as representatives. Having shared these reasons, invite all the participants to give a round of applause as a mark of respect and happiness in the faith that has been reposed on all of them by their SHG members.
So now on to the second session. This session is about sharing the expectations of the participants and will take around half an hour, and the materials required are markers, meta cards. Meta cards are rectangular pieces of chart papers where the participants will record their expectations. We will also require a whiteboard, and yes, always keep the good old LCD projector ready for this session. It will be very good to have a designated space ready to paste the meta cards once the participants have written their expectations. First, tell the participants that you are going to share some meta cards with them, and then share these cards and ask them to write the 3 top things that they want to learn from this 3-day training, which they can then apply in the role as a Federation representative. Remember to remind the literate participants to help those participants who are unable to read or write, but also remind them that they should do that only when they have written their own expectations down. Once everybody has written down their expectations, request them to paste the meta cards in the designated space in the training room. Next, the facilitator should read out the expectations which have been articulated by the groups and then talk about those expectations which will not be covered in this training. As a trainer, you can share the reasons for not being included and also tell them that these expectations are very important and that they will be taken up in the subsequent trainings for the Federation. In the rare case something very irrelevant comes up, politely tell them that this training will not cover this expectation. After this exercise, using the PowerPoint or a chart paper, as the case may be, share the objectives of the training with the participants. This is a very important phase as it prepares the participants intellectually for the subjects that are going to be covered and how it is relevant to their role as Federation leaders. Well, this brings us to the end of the first phase of this training, and now we are ready to dive deep into the other session. So let's go. Now we move on to the third session of this training. And as the name suggests, this session is all about what happened in the village level visioning. This is an important session as they have been able to conduct a very complex meeting by themselves. Of course, there would have been some assistance, but the fact remains that they have done it on their own, and perhaps this is the first time that they have done such an event on their own. This session will take about an hour to complete, and the material required are the charts that the participants have brought from the village level visioning events at their own villages. And of course, you will also need charts and markers. The picture gallery which has been prepared before the training, which has photographs from all these village level events, if put up, would be an additional advantage in facilitating this session. Addressing the Federation leaders, announce the following. I hope you have brought the charts prepared during the village level visioning. Please paste all your interface chart papers view-wise on the walls of the training hall. Give them some time to do so. Once it is done, applaud the effort and then announce the following. Now let us reflect on the interface. Please divide yourselves into 4 groups. I will ask a few questions for which 7 minutes per question will be given for discussion, and the group then has to write their thoughts on the topic on the chart paper on a question-wise manner. Remember, this is a group exercise and all members of the group have to contribute. Once all the questions are over, each group will present their thoughts in the larger group. So the questions that are going to be asked are, question number 1, what apprehension did you have before the community meeting? And how did you overcome those apprehensions? Question number 2, share the most satisfying moments from these meetings. Question number 3, how did you feel after completing these meetings? And question number 4, after interacting with the large number of members, how do you feel about yourself as a leader? Remember, you have to give 7 minutes of time after every question for the group to discuss and write down their answers. Another thing that is worth remembering that you might have to push the groups to stick to the timeline of 7 minutes, as otherwise this exercise can take up a lot of time and mess up with your plans for the training. Once all the questions have been given and the responses have been recorded, invite one group after the other to share their thoughts on the 4 questions. Once the presentations are done, share the following insights to close these presentations. As shared by you, you have covered a journey from lack of confidence, confusion, fear, apprehensions to confidence, clarity, and feeling of being a leader. This event was triggered by an external world like SRLM. You, as a leader, have got an opportunity to define yourself as a leader. But every time this opportunity will not be there, and sometimes you'll have to take charge and grab these opportunities. I would like to congratulate all of you on this stupendous achievement of conducting such a training by yourself. Please clap loudly for all of you, from all of you. One thing that needs to be remembered while giving this instruction is that do not add anything which has not come up in the interactions, and also remember to remove anything which was not there in the discussion. On to the next session. This session, as the name suggests, is about consolidating the village level vision which have been brought by the various VLOs. This should take up an hour or so, and the materials have already been mentioned in the previous session, so no new materials are required for this session. You can check this purple box appearing at the top right hand corner which shows the instructions you need to give to the participants. For your convenience, I'm just reading them out. You all have pasted your interface document on the wall. Now please go to each document and see what kind of visions have been articulated by the other VLOs in your federation. Is it similar to what you have thought as a VLO? Have they thought of something different? Do you think it is relevant for your VLO also? And please do check out every other VLO's vision in the room. Instruct the members to sit down in a semicircle after they have seen all the vision statement charts from the different VLOs. Request them to select 6 to 8 volunteers from the group who are going to further work on sharpening the vision statements. Once they have finalized the chosen volunteers, these chosen volunteers shall sit in a smaller circle and the remaining participants shall sit in a larger circle around the smaller circle. The task for the smaller circle is to first check which dimensions have been articulated by the VLOs and then consolidate the list by creating a final list of all dimensions, but without repeating the ones which are common. Once this list has been created, the same list needs to be now prioritized into high priority, medium priority, and low priority. So give them some time to first prepare this list. Once this list has been prepared, the prioritization can now be done by using the chapati exercise or the Venn diagram PRA tool. This is a very commonly used tool by groups when faced with prioritizing important items. So as a preparation for this session, 3 chart papers need to be cut in circular shapes and they should be in 3 separate sizes as shown in the pictures in front of you. The large size chart paper is for high priority, the medium size circular chart is for medium priority, and the smallest circular chart is for, yes, you guessed it right, low priority. Simultaneously, the listed dimensions need to be written in small strips of papers so that they can be used for the discussion. The inner circle participants would first pick up these dimensions and decide which circle to keep it in, keeping the federation's and the members' interests in mind. So if they think that a particular dimension is high priority, they should place it in the larger circle. If they think something is of a medium priority, they should place it in the medium-sized circle. And those which they think are of low priority and dimensions on which the federations are not going to work immediately, they should place them in the last smallest size low priority circle. As a facilitator, allow the participants some time to do their discussions and finalize the placement of dimensions. Once they have finalized the order, ask them that whether this is their final decision and does everyone agree to it. If they say yes, then ask them their reasons for the placement, and in case if there are any doubts in your mind as a facilitator, please ask them. But remember, curiosity on the part of the facilitator is okay, but do not try and color their decisions with your own biases. Also, remember to applaud their effort and tell them that as a federation, this is what they've decided, and that as a federation, they're going to put their energies in the manner as is being shown by the Venn diagrams or the chapatis, which means that those in the high priority circle would be given the highest priority and the federation's efforts will be focused towards achieving them. Now we move on to the last session of this micro module, which is the vision statement preparation. Ask the participants to sit in a circle. I'm now going to read out the instructions which the facilitator needs to give to the participants. Looking at the prioritization results and the overall objectives of the federation, please develop a statement which tells everyone, from the members to the villagers to government officials to PRI representatives to village councils to politicians and ministers, whoever they are, that what this federation stands for, who this federation is, and what it wants to achieve in the next 5 years. And for this, you will have to work as a group and come up with one sentence. As a facilitator, you might have to repeat this instruction once or twice so that it becomes very clear as to what is being expected of the group. Give them around 30 minutes to begin this discussion and take stock at about the first 20 minutes and then decide whether more time needs to be given than the original 30 minutes or not. If required, then do give them 10-15 minutes extra. What is important here is that they should come up with a logical statement which describes to the internal as well as the external world that who these women are, what this federation is, what it stands for, and what it wants to achieve in the next 5 years. Also, while the discussions are on, please ensure that everyone is participating by reminding the group that an effective group is one which ensures the participation of all in the group. And once the vision statement is finalized, display it for everyone to see and ask them to repeat it for all the participants, and then end the session with a round of applause for being able to achieve the vision statement for the federation. This brings us to the end of the first phase of Visioning 2.